right, hockey fans, here we go. So, every year as we get close to the start of the season, I stand here and I tell you the state of the channel and where we're going, where we are, what we need, and everything. Well, maybe not exactly right here. Usually it's more like over here. But in order to get the Stanley Cup champion sign in to the picture that Tom got us, we'll just move the camera over just a little bit. And that way, I don't know, there's not so much of the Dolphin stuff in the picture either. So, all right. So camp starts at some point next week. The Panthers are always like tight-lipped, like it's some secret when camp starts. I've looked for it a couple of places. I got a headache. I didn't look any further. Obviously, the first preseason game is, I think it's the 22nd. So camp starts next week. I'm just gonna throw it out there as a guess. So now, if you've watched this channel over the years, you guys know I've always been very upfront about what we're doing here, what we're trying to accomplish, and things going on in my life, so that everybody knows, hey, what to expect content-wise. Now, as I found out from streaming the football games this last weekend, not everybody knows everything that went down this summer. So, obviously, if you were watching the channel, you know Ellie passed on March 18th. Some people did not know that Fluffy passed on July 10th. Then, about 2 weeks after that, less than 2 weeks after that, my almost 6-year relationship, Karen left, and she unexpectedly left. The relationship dissolved. We'll put it that way. So, what that means is that now, as Paul put it on the football stream the other day, Kyle and I are now living in a bachelor pad, which that's the good. The other part over here, as many of you probably know in your own personal lives, 2 incomes is better than 1. And now we got 1. Now, what does that mean for the channel? Well, a couple of years ago, I sat down right around this time of the year, and I did the math on what the channel was making and how much credit cards I had left, because I financed the channel between the donations you guys give and my credit cards. That's what runs the channel. So I looked at what the channel was making, how much credit card I had left, and what my bills were. I said, no, that's not going to work. So that's when Kyle and I started streaming. Now, as luck would have it, I'd love to take credit for this, but as luck would have it, Kyle and I have streamed every game for 2 years, and for 2 years, the Panthers have made it to the Stanley Cup final. So, not too fine a point on it, what has financed the channel for the last 2 years are my credit cards, but also massive donations from about half dozen to maybe 8 people. And the fact that those donations lingered on through April and May and into June because the team was doing so well. Now, how do I put this? I've gone around in my head a million times how to put this. If you guys watch this channel, you know I suck at self-promotion. I loathe entirely self-promotion. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, buy our membership. Can't stand it. Can't stand it. What I want to do is I want to make videos and I want to pay my bills. You guys ever seen that South Park episode? That's the Underpants Gnomes, where they just steal underpants and then there's a big question mark and then there's make lots of money. I'm the Underpants Gnomes. Unfortunately, the way YouTube works is I have to ask. So, here's the deal. Now, like I said, there's been about 6, 8 people. I don't want to mention names because as soon as I mention 5, I'm going to forget number 6. There's been a bunch of people that have given significant amounts of money over the last 2 years. I'm not talking about 10s and 20s or even hundreds. I'm talking about thousands of dollars to Kyle and I over the last couple of years to help make ends meet while we're building the channel. And while my credit cards went from $2,000 to $4,000 to now $15,000 in debt, the last 2 years trying to get this channel to a point where I could do what I needed to do. And I did. And then Karen left. So, basically, long story short, is with Karen leaving, that puts Kyle and I in a position of needing $1,000 more per month than we were making at the end of last season. I'm not counting the playoffs. The playoffs, what that does is it allows Kyle and I to work 60, 70 hours a week during the playoffs. You guys give us so much money that what I'm supposed to do over the summer is have a nice vacation. What I did this year was bury my dog and unpack the house, or pack up the house and put it on a truck for carrying. So it's not been very relaxing, and you guys can notice that the content just kind of like face planted into a wall. I tried to work myself through it. That didn't work out. So we got the season started. So here's the thing. All those people that have given all those hundreds of thousands of dollars, you guys know I've talked to you individually. Some of you wanted to remain anonymous. Some of you know, right? You guys come to the stream. You know who's giving the big money. You guys know I appreciate that more than words can express. You guys made it possible for Kyle and I to be able to stay home with the dogs, and you guys made a lot of things possible. But you also make this channel possible. Now, here's the part. Here's the thing. That's not sustainable. And what I mean by that is the channel cannot depend upon 6 people to give Kyle and I $3,000-$4,000 a year, and so how I want to do this moving forward. If you can afford to give, you give. Okay, I'm not telling people not to donate, but you know, as an example, last year on the streams, all right, you know, MJ with 20, MJ with 20, MJ with 20, MJ with 20, MJ with 50, MJ with 10. A couple other people will come in with 5 or 10. A couple other people will come in with 20. A lot of people would donate, you know, towards the end, and that's all fine. But when I looked at my analytics, we're making a living, but it's about 5 people giving about 70 to 80%. And to me, that's not fair to them. It's not fair for me to ask them to give that much money so I can keep doing this for everybody. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So, over the course of the last couple of years, you guys know, I had the reviews with Stu. That kind of went away. Then Kyle and I were doing the review at noon. And I've gone back and forth over the summer about how I want to approach this. So here's what I'm going to ask, and then here's what I'm going to give. So here's the thing. I have 2 choices. Me personally, I got 2 choices. Now, I've been out of the workforce for 25 years. I ain't qualified to do shit, okay? When I go get a job, it's going to be at the Redners. It's going to be at the Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, past having the ability to try to start another business. Kyle and I do sell on eBay, and I'll get into that in a minute. But if I have to go get a job, it's going to be 40 hours a week, and it's going to be $15 an hour. That's the minimum wage here in Maryland. So basically, that would make me is $500 a week after taxes. So it's $2,000 a month. Now, if I'm making $2,000 a month, that plus the eBay store that Kyle and I have, we can pay our bills, we can eat, and I'm not dipping into the credit cards. So, what I'm trying to do here is say to all of you, okay, this is year 9. This is going to be my 9th year. 9 years, getting old. This was black when I started. And I had hair. Literally, I had hair. So this is going to be my 9th year starting. Can I turn this, what I'm doing with you guys during the hockey season, is that worth minimum wage? Is that worth 40 hours a week at $15 an hour, $2,000 a month, $500 a week? Can I make that doing this, or do I need to stop doing this and go get a job? Because one of those 2 things has to happen, or we won't have light, power, direct. We won't have any. You know what I'm saying? So, the only way that I can figure out how to divide this up as evenly as I possibly could, and this is where the numbers get loco coco. Now, I want to preface this by saying, I'm not saying I need such and such amount of money before the season starts, or I'm not going to do the channel. I'm not saying that. My full intent right now, as of this video, is I'm doing all the content I'm about to tell you for the whole year. That's what I want to do. But I got to make $2,000 a month on this channel. So, and it cannot be all 4 people giving Kyle and I thousands of dollars. You see what I'm saying? Now, a lot of you don't have a lot of money. That's fine. You can't come to the stream and give 30, 40 bucks. I'm not expecting that either. There's a lot of people that can give 5, you give 2, you give 1. It's all appreciated. But we just need more giving 1 and 2 and 5. So what I'm trying to do here is sell the memberships. Because bottom line is, if the ad revenue on the videos is inconsequential, okay? For every 1,000 views that one of my videos gets, I might get $4. So the average recap, maybe 1,000 views, 800, 1,000. So, 82 recaps times, even if I make $5, that's $400 over the whole course of the year. The ad revenue is useless, basically, okay? The only way YouTube channels survive, unless they're getting tens and hundreds of thousands of views, is through memberships and donations on the live streams. So, the YouTube memberships and the Patreon memberships both start at $3 a month. Now, I've gone back and forth over the years on what I'm offering with that. I had the podcast. A lot of those times I was sitting outside with the dogs. They're not so active these days. I talk to them. They talk back in my head, but it's not the same experience for you guys. So, what we need, here we go. This number is going to sound high. Right now, if I add up my YouTube members and the Patreon supporters, we got about 110 people that are paying the $3 a month. There's some that pay the $5. There's a couple, I think that there's a couple that pay 10 or 25 even. I haven't looked in a while, to be honest with you. That said, 700. That's the number we need. We need 700 people paying the $3 a month. I got 700 paying 300. We need 700 people paying at least the $3 a month for the memberships. That will bring me the income from this channel that is equal to a 40-hour job at minimum wage. Now, I know 700 sounds like a lot, considering over the course of 8 years I only got 100. I won't ask. That's one thing that's going to have to change. You guys are going to hear it over and over and over again. You're going to hear clips. You're going to see. I have to do this. It is the only way that I can viably keep doing what I'm doing. So the way that I can put it to you is like this. I am going to go live Monday through Friday every day during the season for the members only. The season will start Monday, which is basically the same week that training camp starts, and the season will end 1 to 2 weeks after free agency is over. So I will cover the entire ongoings. And then once the main part of free agency is over and summer starts, I will still do 1 per week to keep up on the residual stuff that happens in hockey. But what that's going to mean is that's going to just be me. It won't be Kyle. It won't be anybody else. It'll just be me upstairs live from 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time every day for the members only. I'll start off with a 10 or 15 minute little, either a rant or not a rant, right? Depending on our mood. And then I'll spend the rest of the time engaging with all of you in the chat. That works better for me because I do have to structure my day now because I have to work with the eBay store with Kyle and I have to do some other things because my health is not exactly good after all the stress, if you might imagine. So, that's what I'm doing extra for the members. So, all I can say to all of you is that if you, and I want to preface this by saying I hate putting it this way. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't do this, but I'm doing it because I have no choice. If you enjoy the recaps, if you enjoy turning on 15 minutes before game time, Kyle and I are going to be live. If you enjoy the fact that, half hour after the game, we're still live. 1 hour after the game, the recap is up. Okay? All of the other content. The stuff that you start seeing Nick helping me with, right? He's helping me, but that's not a permanent, I need to make sure that, Nick is taken care of there as well. If you enjoy this channel and it's worth $3 a month to you, I need you to sign up for the membership and the Patreon. Now, it might not be worth it. You might say, well, good luck, Jaws. It was fun. And that's fine. That's fine. But I gotta ask. Because this is year 9. And, if I can't, after 8 full seasons, if I can't turn it into what would be a minimum wage job, that might be my sign. Like this sign, might be my sign to say, hey, look, man, you rolled the dice, but I don't have any more credit. There's nothing left on the credit cards. So I can't fill in, well, the electric bill was $700. That's going on the Capital One. There's nothing left. So the intent is, now, like I said, I'm not sitting here saying I need 700 members by opening day or I quit. That's not happening here, okay? I'm selling shit, okay? I have a house full of stuff, not really, but like I'm selling stuff on eBay to make up for the bills right now, but that will run out at some point. Over the course of this season. It is what it is, man. I'm just being honest with you all about the situation. I do these videos because what I don't want to happen is one day in February one year, you guys wake up and there's a video where I'm crying and I'm like, I can't do the videos anymore because I don't have enough money. I don't want that to happen. Or at least I don't want that to happen without giving you guys the opportunity to, it's your channel. I say this on the streams all the time. I'm working for you, okay? You guys are the one, you guys tell me you enjoy the streams, the recaps, the whole thing. I'm working for you. I enjoy doing this. I love doing this. I want to do it, but I can't do it for free. And we as a community cannot depend on, MJ giving $200 a game and Paul giving $200 a game. And there, Eyes gives a lot. And Jake gives a lot. And I know I'm forgetting people. I didn't want to name names. And Tom has given me a lot of money. And there's a couple other people that have donated behind the scenes that want to remain anonymous. And I know that there's more people, but it's been so long with the stream names. I know Great White was on the stream with the football stream. I mean, I know there's so many of you, but if we could even it out a little bit, and not put the burden so much on people to give huge amounts of money, because it's not sustainable. It's not fair to them. So now other things that you can do to help the channel. Okay. Obviously, like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. The football channel's doing well. Okay. If you don't know we have a football channel, links are in the description. We have a football channel. We do the same thing with the football that we do for the hockey, except that we don't have memberships or anything over there, because most of the people that would pay for a membership over there, you're already paying for a membership here. So I'm not going to double dip, because I really want to do a football podcast. Now, for those of you, this is all wrapped into one thing. For those of you who used to enjoy the old podcasts and you tell the stories and all of that, over on the exclusively male channel, I have a men's support channel. It's like dating advice, men's support, etc. But there is a series called The Story of Life podcast. That's where I'm telling the stories now. So if you enjoyed that part of the old podcast, go over to the channel. Again, all these links are in the description. It's called Exclusively Male. If you don't want to listen to dating advice, that's fine. But there's a playlist, I believe, or if not, I got to create one. I've only done 3 of them so far, but now that I'm rolling with content, I'm going to start putting out 2 or 3 per week. So if you enjoyed that on the Flying Fluffy podcast, those are now over on the Exclusively Male channel. It's done a little bit differently. It's a little bit more in depth. It might be some stories you've already heard, but it's a little bit more in depth, a little bit more about the lessons and stuff that I've learned with those things. Now, that channel's not monetized yet, so that's why I'm bringing it up, because I'm like creeping and crawling to get monetized with that channel. So if a bunch of you, like if you join a membership and you want to help out one little bit more, just go subscribe to that channel, Exclusively Male. The link is in the description. And then if you want to listen to the stories, like I said, it's called The Story of Life. Now, the only other thing that I can say is, if you want to help the channel and you load it or something like that, in the links to the descriptions of the videos now. They should be there. They should. If not, they'll be there. They'll be there. Okay. We have the link to the Cash App and link to the PayPal if you just, if you won the lottery and you want to throw us a bone as well that way. YouTube, don't forget, YouTube takes 30%. So you send a $10 super chat, I get 7, YouTube gets 3. The memberships, the same thing. $3 a month, I get 2, YouTube gets 1. So that contributes to why I need so many members. I looked at some of the payment subscription processing software and some of the services and everything, and it was like trying to teach Greek to a toddler. Yeah, it was just, I was like, when I would read the reviews, or like there's a lot of reviews from the payment processes like, well, they held my money because of this, or they held my money because of that. YouTube doesn't hold my money, and then there's taxes to be involved. It's all screwy now because every state is a different tax, and then there's the international taxes. So unless this channel blows up to like Tom Grossi size, I want to keep it on YouTube memberships and the Patreon as well. So that's what I got. Now, in terms of content for this channel, everything is going to stay the way you would expect it to stay. Still going to be live 1/2 hour before every Panthers game. We'll still be live 1/2 hour after every Panthers game. Recap will still be up about an hour after each game. And then the members podcast, the members live podcast will be noon Monday through Friday every day during the season. Now, that's not the only content I'm going to be producing. We're going to be producing probably 1 video per week with Nick. Okay, make sure you like those. We're trying to do some different things so that maybe we can grow the base of the channel a little bit, right? Get some fans of the other teams a little bit more involved. And then I do have 2 more ideas. You guys know how this works. I roll the ideas around in my head, and then like the day before the season starts, I will be cramming myself trying to figure out how to make that idea happen. So I do have a couple other things that I'm going to be doing on a pretty regular basis. One of the ideas might be something that you guys really like, involving highlights. However, it won't be monetizable. It'll be copyrighted. Now, when you get copyrighted, what that means is I can still make the video and show it to you, but I can't monetize it. There won't be any ads or anything like that on it. But I'm considering doing that to give you guys some content in the morning, in the beginning portion of the day. So, normal content, members podcast at noon, and then the surprise question content like the Underpants Gnomes. That's still in progress, but it will be ready to go by the beginning of the season. I've been practicing that like for a week outside. I don't like asking. I really don't, but that probably explains why I'm broke. So there's that. All right, Panther fans. So that's going to do it for this week. Monday, I'm starting fresh, rested, ready to go, and then camp, and then the preseason. I mean, the preseason is what? This is 10 days. Today's the 11th. 11 days away, and that's it. And then boom, we just start the ball rolling. Now again, like I said, we're doing every stream. There will be some games that Nick from Twisted Wrister, there will be some games that he will be streaming. Not many. I think 4, maybe 5. Might be a couple more. But the reason why that is there, like last year, there was one game that was a conflict with the Dolphins. I think there's like 4 or maybe 5 Panther games that conflict with Dolphin games this year. I know it's at least 3. There's a few. So for those games, there may be a couple games, maybe a couple times where we're just double streaming, but there may be a few that Nick from Twisted Wrister takes over. Point is, we got you covered here. We got you covered here. Don't have to worry about that. They will all be streamed one way or another. And no dogs. No dogs. Not yet. People asking, am I going to get a new Fluffy or whatever? Still busy crying. So, all right. I'll shut up.